Golden crates. They're really not cheap, and today I will be seeing if they're worth it. They take hours to get in hundreds of games. So today I will do a fair test on every tower to see if they are really worth the 50,000 coins. Golden Scout. The rules for each tower is simple. Only use the selected tower. No power-ups or anything. Same map for every tower. It'll just show the highlights for every game while talking about whether the tower is good or not. Golden Scout is pretty mediocre in early game because you need maps with loops for this tower to actually kill the enemies. Its hidden detection and lead detection is nice, making it alright for early game hardcore. It's also pretty good at destroying high HPH bosses early game, but horrendous at dealing with crowds. A big problem with Golden Scout is you have to spam it, so you cannot have all your scouts in good positions. You can see here it is easily getting overrun, especially against the Fallen Jester, which will make other enemies faster and give them extra HPH. The scout is very cost effective, but since I don't have farm I couldn't really afford more scouts. Overall the scout is okay for Fallen, but better for other game modes. I lost on wave 21, so you can see that even with a long map like this with multiple loops, the scout will fall off in the mid game. I will rate the Golden Scout 5 out of 10. It is okay for other game modes, but there is better options for Fallen. The next tower is Golden Pyro. Not gonna lie, this tower exceeded my expectations, but the only downside is that you have to wait until wave 1 to place it. This tower is insanely overpowered against hordes of enemies and easily breeze through the early game, somehow even defeating Fallen Squire. This tower is also pretty up for hardcore since it has lead and hidden detection, but Cryomancer might be better, I don't know. Just look at how well one Pyromancer destroyed these enemies. Even against the breakers this tower didn't disappoint. I really thought it was gonna lose against Fallen Necromancer, but this thing is a beast and just destroyed it. The Fallen Hazmats did push pretty far though, because of their no burn. Fallen Jester is just way too good, and that's how I lost. Fallen Hazmat killed me because of its no burn, so overall this tower is pretty good for all game modes, early game and mid game, but it can also help late game because of the defense melting. I will rate the Golden Pyro 8 out of 10. This tower really exceeded my expectations, and its versatility makes it great. The next tower is Golden Minigunner. I had to make an exception for this tower because I would be dead before being able to place it. Minigunner is pretty overpowered after its buff, but not really ideal for solo as its placement limit is 15. Its hidden detection makes it good for every game mode and decent for hardcore. You can see here it's not good against hordes of enemies, but is really good at taking down high HPH enemies. The tower isn't very versatile as it's only good in mid or late game because that's when you will be able to place it. Minigunner really disappointed me because it was leaking Fallens while barely even damaging them. It's not really cost effective, and I couldn't upgrade it more than level 2. Somehow this tower performed worse than Golden Pyro, and I had to use an extra tower, so the rating will be pretty low. Overall its biggest weakness is fast enemies with high HPH and is only good if you're playing in teams. I wouldn't recommend this for solo. I will rate the Golden Minigunner 4 out of 10. This tower really disappointed me and performed worse than the Scout even with an extra tower. The next tower is Golden Cowboy. I expected Golden Cowboy to do well, and it did. It's really good for early game, and you can place it on the first wave with no issues. Golden Cowboy is probably one of the best early game towers, and you do not need to bring farm, so you can add another DPS tower. It's also very good at dealing with hordes and high HPH towers, because you need to spam it, and you make lots of money from spamming it. Another good feature of this tower is that it has hidden detection at only level 3, so that's pretty good. Golden Cowboy is pretty much just farm and an early game tower combined, so it makes it overpowered. High HPH enemies is just free money for Cowboy, but the downside is you can only place 12 Cowboys, limiting it from making even more money. To be honest, Cowboy would probably be dead by now if it wasn't for the loops, but the same could be said about the other Golden Towers. Golden Cowboy biggest weakness is the Jester, but that's like every TD's tower. Jester is just overpowered. You can see here that Cowboy just gets overrun, and Jester makes it even worse by buffing all the enemies. Overall, Cowboy is a solid option, and with Commander it literally becomes a cash printing machine. I lost because of the aggro on some enemies that made the Cowboys focus on them and not on the enemies that were going to the end. I will rate the Golden Cowboy 8.5 out of 10. It is a solid choice and would be way better with an actual Lodo. The final tower is Golden Crook Boss. Golden Crook Boss is overall a good tower choice, and very versatile. It's also like one of the best towers for solo hardcore, and just maybe there might be a video of me soloing it soon. Crook Boss is very cheap, but insanely overpowered at level 3, so it can literally handle all of your early game and some of your mid game. Another great thing about it is that it spawns overpowered troops on the path that stack up and do like over 100 DPS at max. Just look at how much troops it has spawned already, and it is only level 2. The Fallen Necromancer was like a walk in the park for this tower, it's that good. The only downside is that the last level costs 30,000 like what the Cluck. This tower is so good it even defeats Fallen Jester with no issues. After the buffs it got, this might be one of the best towers. I mean, it already beat all the other towers, none of them got past wave 21, so I can already give it the win, but since I'm rating them I have to see how far it goes. Oh my giant, look at all those troops on the path. No way it even beat Fallen Shield. Here's where Crook Boss loses. To be honest, all the towers could have made it farther if I didn't have auto skip on, but since they're golden towers, they should be able to handle it. The Crook Boss lost to these flying enemies that got past because they have like 1000 health and move insanely fast. I will rate the Golden Crook Boss 10 out of 10. It is extremely versatile and definitely worth the 50,000 coins. Now finally, I will use all the golden towers in one loadout to see how far they can go. Not surprising, but they obviously beat the Fallen Kings, so yeah, they're pretty good. To be honest, I would say they're worth it, but the grind is a pain. Only if you have nothing to do then get them. But other than that, some other towers are better. The best golden skin you can get is definitely Golden Crook Boss. Hope you enjoyed my first tower defense simulator video. If this does well, I will make another vid on this game. Like and sub, goodbye.